Okay, so awk command is very simple. All you have to do is awk awk, okay, and you have to open a single quote and curly bracket and close a single quote. Let me do this. The command is awk, and you have a single colon, curly bracket, and a single colon. In the middle here, all you have to type is print $3. Alright, when you do $3, it will take this as a third column and the name of the file, new file. And now what it did was, this command is smart enough to just look for the third column here. 1, 2, 3. What will happen if I do this here? $1. If I do this here, it will bring column 3 first, which is this here. This is column 3, and then it brings the column 1. So you could manipulate the file as ever you want. Okay.
So if you put just $3, then only $3 column is going to show.
Yeah.
Okay, it can pull up only one column, or it can arrange the column in any order you want.
It will arrange it the way you have it here.
Okay.
So if you have like dollar column 1, and then you go again dollar column 1, and then you want to have for dollar column 2, and you see it keep doing it for you.
Okay.
And now
can
if you, yeah, now what will happen if I do this here? What is going to happen here?
It's going to show third column first, and then first column, and then repeat first column, and then second.
Mm-hmm. And then what is happening here? What am I doing here? What is this?
Redirecting.
Yeah. Mm. And where am I redirecting to?
To new file 2.
Yeah. So it will be, the output will be gone into new file 2. And if I do cat new file 2, there you go. You have whatever is supposed to be on the screen, it goes into the another file. Yeah, pretty simple here. Awk work as a cut command, but efficient. And what you do is awk, and you do this.
So what can be the purpose of this command? Like pulling out the columns, what can we do in there?
So what will happen is, sometimes you will have a big file. It's a good question. So let me cat this file here, var log.
You did not type log.
Yeah. So there is this file here, all log messages, right? See how big this file is. So what you could do is, um, so for example, if you're looking through this here, you don't want to have a lot of stuff here, like the date you don't care about. So this is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 3, or it may look at to this as column 3 here. Then there would be column 4, column 5. So let's try to see if we could do anything with this. So here, awk, and then I'm gonna do this here, 2 curly brackets, and I'm gonna say print $1 and dollar, let's do $4. Let's see what it will bring up. Okay, so it is bringing up so it is considering this as a column 1, and this is column 2, and it's column 3, this is column 4, and then this is column 5. Okay, so let's see, let's bring up only column 5 and see what happens here. Alright, so now you have these messages coming up here. So what you're doing is, instead of sorting it out, instead of you looking through the big message file, you could sort it out and then zero it on the problem here. So if you look through like this here, this is kind of a lot of information here. Okay, but if you play around a little bit, you may be able to get out the information you're looking for, like column 5, and I want to do column 8 and see if it's there. Alright, so like this here, if you are going through this, and then what you could do is you could grab for successful, and then it brings up all this how many times it's been successful, and you could do a word count also.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you do WC here, and you could see this has been successful like so many times. So the sky is the limit here. You could manipulate this as many times as you want, and then you could play around with this. So that's comes really handy for you. Alright, so that is the awk command here. So I'm gonna yeah, I should have shown this much earlier. In fact, what I'll do is I'll remove it from here, and I'll put all the way. Alright, I'll put after sort command. Okay, so it's before sort command. Okay. now let's jump into the directory structure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a directory structure is, and then from there, let me close this here. So what will happen here is I'm going to go through this directory structure a little bit fast. I'm going to copy it from the last thing I had here. Just we'll go over this here. Okay, so give me just a minute here. Give me one moment here. Hello? What? हाँ 4 बजे निकली वो लेके उनका क्या बोलते हैं हैंडीकैप टैग हाँ और कौन है वहाँ पे बच्चे हाँ लाला लोग बोल रहे हैं तो सही में हाँ बोल रहा हूँ हाँ ठीक है बस all right, I'm back here. Okay, so I already have this diagram here, directory structure. So let's take a look here where we are right now. So let me close this. Okay, when you do PWD, okay, you come into one of your own directory here, okay? So the first directory, your own directory is /home/Zafar, okay? What about /home? Is /home a directory itself or no? Anybody who can give me an answer? Slash home is also a directory itself. Okay, so what is happening here is, I'm going to copy this here into, okay. So when you look at this here, directories, where are we right now?
The root.
No, hold on. When we compare this, okay, compare this with your own directory here. Where are you? So you will be in this directory here, slash home.
So is the Zafar equal to the lib?
No. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so here I'm at slash home slash Zafar, right? So the only directory which is visible over here is home. This is where I am in right now, and this is my home directory. So I am in home and then Zafar. Okay, and what directory the home is sitting in? The home is sitting in inside this directory here, and this is the topmost directory. You cannot go beyond this directory because that's where the operating system is starting. Okay, so what will happen now is, let me stop this. So if I do cd dot dot, what will happen is I'm into home directory if I do pwd. And then if I do ls here, I'll see directory with everybody's name in here. Okay, I don't have permission to go into any other directory other than my own directory. And if I do cd dot dot, and if I do pwd, this is where I am. Slash is also a directory itself. Okay, slash is also a directory in itself. After that, you're coming down slash home, and then in home you're going into slash Zafar or whatever your directory is. Along the side of home, we have all these directories in there. Okay, so we're gonna go over each directory here. Honestly, I don't use these other directories as much. I only use it as needed. Barely. Out of 100 days, I'm working, I'm using it like 1 or 2 days. So I'm barely using this. Okay, so here the explanation here. Slash is, this is the topmost directory and is referred to as a root directory. Okay, later on we will have one more root, and that would be root user. Here the directory itself is also a slash, is also considered a root, and what we have next is slash root. So if I go here, where is my putty? Let me expand this. And if I do ls here, I see all the directories here. Not in the order though, the way you see it here, but the way I'm explaining you is slash is this own directory here, and then slash root, which is this directory here. Where did it go? Right here. Okay, that root directory is a home directory for which user? Home directory for root user. So I have not explained much about root user. Root user is a administrator. So here, so far I've been logging in as Zafar, and you guys have been logging in as your own name. But there is another super user. His name is root, and then I'm gonna put in the password, and he's logged in. And when you type pwd slash root is his home directory. That's a root user home directory. Okay, don't think too much into it, but just that's a system administrator home directory. So who is the system administrator? He is a super user, and that user has a root access. That means he could go into anybody root, anybody directory, anywhere. He has full access. There is no restrictions for it. Okay, moving along. The second directory we're going to focus is on slash bin. It contains all the binary commands for a regular user. Okay, if you are running a command as a regular user, this is where all the commands and come and sit in there. So let me go into cd slash bin, and if I do ls here, you have some familiar commands in there, right? Like I just saw one mk directory. It's a directory, and we did a mkdir, right? This is a directory that you create using this command. So all these commands are sitting in here. vi editor is a command, and these are all the commands here. I'm not even using every day, but these are, you know, so many extra commands you could see here. lsblk, we're going to use it later, and ls is another command that you guys already know about. So these are like so many different commands in here, but I'm not using this every day. Like gzip here, I just saw a gunzip, gzip, and these are all the other commands here. It's not being used as much. Alright, so this directory holds all the commands. Okay, and slash boot, it contains the system bootable files. Okay, so the files, when the system is built, they have some files called system bootable files. So all right, let me see here. I think I will show you what the system bootable files are. Over here I have a bunch of remote systems here, right? So let me go into one of the servers here. Okay, so I have a bunch of servers here. I'm going to power up one of them. And you see here that the system is coming up. Okay, you probably don't see this on your Windows system, but on Linux here there are like a lot of activities happening in the background. Okay, if I may, it's going to come up soon here. Usually it goes fast, but hopefully we could get to see it here. Okay, see, all these files are, one file is leading to another file and one file is executing another files here. So what you see here is the system is booting up. For the system to be working, it is dependent actually on the files itself. Okay, so all this activity you're seeing in the background is happening from /boot. There you go. Now the system is ready to be logged in here. So what is that happening? All that activity is happening in from /boot. Alright, and /dev, it contains all the attached device information. Okay, yeah, we will actually use /dev a lot. If I go /dev, and if you do ls here, you will see a CD-ROM is sitting in here, and what else? We'll be using SDA, SDB, SDC. All these are hard drives. Okay, and these are the other ones like TTY and all that. I normally don't use it. It's just there for some testing purposes. Okay. But this is the important thing is you come in here and SDA, SDB, SDC, these are all the hard drives. Right? I'll explain you what the hard drives are when we go into the disk management. Okay. Alright, now the next one is /etc. It contains all the configuration file. In short, we call it as etc file. Okay. Actually, you will be using etc folder a lot. So if I go into /etc and if I do ls, again there are a lot of files in here, but you won't be using each and every file here. You will be using a few files here. So what is happening here is, if you are doing any configuration, those files will be configured in here, and it will sit in here, and it will save the configuration of the file system. /home, it doesn't need any introduction. This is your own home directory. But as a root user, let me clear this cd /home, and if I do ls here, I am logged in as root, right? And I am free to go into anybody's folder here, and I won't have any problem. As a root, I will be able to go into any files, any folders. It doesn't matter. I have full access everywhere. Try doing this as a regular user here. Say I'm logged in as Zafar here. If I go /home, and if I try to go to cd adil, and it says permission denied, because I'm the same level user as Adil, and he's not going to allow us to get in there. Alright, so the next directory we have is /lib and lib64. I barely use this. It contains the system binary files shared by application. So for example, if you are downloading Microsoft Word on Linux, what will happen is the files that come in from Microsoft, they will come and sit in these folders. Okay, so that is much more complex, and it's beyond our class. and slash media is usually a blank folder, and it's used for the CD-ROM drive. MNT is also a blank. It's usually used to mount a CD drive also. Slash OPT, it contains third-party application software files. For example, if you're downloading an Oracle database, SAP, or any other database, it will come and sit in here. Okay, so lib64 is the file shared by applications here. So there are some files in the system that are shared by applications. Okay, that is actually what is happening here, lib and lib64. All right, and proc is a active memory information. So if you have any processes running, they are sitting in the memory. If you do ps-ef, see, these are all the processes which are running, but all these processes are also sitting in the proc memory, proc directory. That is where the active memory is. So this directory, once you shut it down, this will flush itself out. And there is a /run directory. It's not used. It's just a symlink for var run. /sbin, it contains command for root administrator. So if I go in here, cd/sbin, and these are some of the reserved commands which is only root can do it. You have pv remove, pv resize, and we haven't touched this commands yet. Later we will. So it's this directory keeps the root user specific commands. All right, and we have srv, so usually sitting in there for mounting the CD drive. Temp, okay, temp directory is like a temporary folder which you could keep a file in there other than your home directory, and all users have read and write permissions. So I'm here, I'm Zafar, right? I want to share a file with somebody. I can keep, if I keep it in my folder, he won't have permissions. So if I do ls here, and then what I could do is I could copy this new file to temp, and then if I go into /temp, I do ls here. There are some system generated files here, and this is the file I want to share with somebody in the class. I'll just put it in here, and if I do ls-l, the file name, so this user has a read, so anybody in here, they have only read permissions. Yeah, I could change that permission. So I don't want to jinx the permission now, because we have a topic coming up for permissions. All right, so /usr, it contains all the system files and folders containing user commands. So like a regular user, all your commands are going to come and sit in here. And if you install some not native commands for Linux, which are not native to Linux, that means it's possible that you could install some commands which was not created by Linux. So what will happen is it will come and sit in here. /var, it keeps the logs. Okay, /var is kind of important. You will use it a few times, but not as a regular user. You have to have a root user. So if you go into /var, and this is where all the logs are sitting here. Most of the time you go into the log directory, cd log, and if you do ls here, these are all the logs which are being generated inside the system here. So if you are having problem, you go into a wall log secure and see what is going on in there. So this one keeps the log of the security activity which is going on. That means if somebody is going in there and logging into the system, all that information is saved here.
But we cannot figure out anything from so much information, right? It's for the engineers and stuff.
No, when you go onto a job, you would have root access, so you could play around too. Yeah, but be careful because you have a full access, and if you end up getting a job in the bank, you brought a system down, and you will be on the evening news. Aisha brought a system down on Chase Bank, and is going to be on. I'm just kidding, but be careful, okay? You will have full access. So when you have a root access, you would have access to thousands of systems. Not one system, two systems, thousands. 10,000 is the average. So as a root user, you have to be really careful, but it will come with the job experience. As you are doing it, when you are logged in as root user, don't fool around too much. Ask somebody. But whatever I'm teaching you, you will be in a good position to do all these things here. But don't go onto the job and restart the system. Don't do that, okay? All right. So now, what is the last one we have? Okay, that's the last one. So these are just the directory information here, just silly information. The most important, I would say, would be you have to worry about is etc. etc is the most important one you will ever use a lot. And what else? And var, I think. Var directory, you go in there and check out the logs and all that. That would be the second most important. Okay, so that's the end of directory structure. All right. Now, what we're gonna do is actually this is kind of going fast. So the next thing we're gonna do is SSH. So I have to give you guys access to 3 servers today. All right. So let's see here. Zero 07 30 20 22. So how many people we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do this here. Let's take a 20-minute break. In the meantime, what I'll do is I will prepare the servers for you guys, okay? All right, let's break starts now.
Yep.
Okay. So pick your servers in there in the list, and I'll show you how to connect to those servers here. So what's going to happen is you're going to connect to this master server here. From there, you're going to connect to the your 3 individual servers. Those servers you have full access to, okay? Okay, so very first thing you would do is at your command line, what you're gonna have to do is type SSH, and the password for root user is Red Hat. That's it, nothing else. So how are you gonna connect there? For example, I type SSH and type root, ROOT, at, and put in your very first IP address. So mine would be 10.1.10.52, 10.1.10.52, and then hit enter. Alright, so what will happen is it will ask you to exchange the fingerprint, and what I'm doing is yes, I'm typing in yes, and now it's asking for the root password. Look at here, it's asking for the root password, so I'm going to say REDHAT, and I'm logged into the server. I'm logged into root, and then the server name is Zafar02. Okay, all right. So what is happening here is this: we connected from one server to another server using SSH. So what happened here is we connected from 71.57.95.5. This is something you guys connect anyway. Alright, once you are into this server, from here I connected to my server here. Okay, and in the little short time, what will happen is the server 1 sends a contact information to server 2, and server 2 sends a public key, and then the third one it does some kind of negotiation connection, and then once it verifies the public key, and it will make a connection here. So this process is called syncac. So what is happening here is you're doing SSH, and then this is the user, root user, okay, and it is doing authentication here. This part is doing authentication, and when you type yes, so fingerprint is shared, okay. Once the fingerprint is shared, it will ask you for the password. and once you provide the root password or whatever the user you're connecting as, then it will allow you to connect. Any questions? Alright, no questions means okay. So now go ahead and type host name there. My host name is zafar.zmpt.com, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this. I'm going to change the host name. So I'm going to say host name CTL set host name. Okay, I'm going to say zafar01.zmpt.com. Okay, and I will hit enter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit. And then the connection is closed. I'm going to go back in there again. I'm going to put red hat. And now if I do host name, I have the correct host name there. All right, any questions so far? Okay, so no questions means we are good. So now what we're gonna do is, so I'm gonna exit here. Actually, I'm gonna change the server name to something else here. Okay, hold on. Okay, so the host name for the master server is, I change it to master here so that we don't have any confusion. Okay, so here I am connecting as a master 01, and then if I connect to the other server here, see, this server name is Zafar01@zmpt.com. So everybody, when you connect to your server, make sure you're changing the name to each of your server here. So I give you 3 servers, right? Make server 1, 2, and 3 your name 01.zmpt.com. Okay, make sure change the server names to all 3 of them. So I'm going to exit here. I'm going to SSH to my second server. SSH. What is my second server is 10.1.10.165. 10.1.10.165. And I'll hit enter. I'll get the same message, yes, and I provide the password red hat. Oh, so do you know what the mistake I did here? I have to clear this. I have to put in as root. And then this name is something else, so I'm going to change that to host name ctl set host name, and I'm going to say Zafar02 at Zafar02.zmpt.com. There you go. And then I'm going to do that to my third server, which is 10.1.10.111.
Should all 3 servers be the same name, or should it be like the first server Sufyan01, then second one Sufyan02,
Yeah.
Sufyan02?
Sufyan 01, 02, and 03. That's how I want it.
Okay.
Alright, what is this? It is possible that Okay, so let me see. Alright, I'll deal with the issue I'm having next time. But anyway, go ahead and change your server name and set the password to whatever it is. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a passwordless. So next thing we're going to do is set passwordless connection, okay? So if you notice, each time you're trying to log in, it will ask you for the password, right? Let's do the one I have is 152. So I'm connecting to ssh.root at 10.1.10.52 and it's asking for the password, right? And each time I'm putting in password red hat. So what you have to do is you may not need to put in the password each time. So for that, when you logged in into your master server, type this here: ssh-keygen, KEYGEN, okay, and hit enter. What else doing is generating a predefined key for you. So go ahead and hit enter, and if you get the message overwrite yes, enter, and this is the information you will see. So all you have to do is just run this command, okay? Once you have done that, all you have to do is just push Y, and it will generate the public and private key. Okay, now what we're doing is we're going to copy this over to the other servers. So what is the command to copy over to the remote server? What you have to do is SSH hyphen copy ID root at whatever your IP address is, 10.1.10.52, okay, and hit enter. And it's asking you to put in the password again one more time. You type red hat and hit enter. So what happened now is it accepted the key. Do this to all servers. Okay, now if I do just this here, SSH and the root, look carefully, it will connect directly without asking the password. Did you notice that? It connected to the server without asking the password. Why? Because we have performed this SSH keyless password, passwordless entries here. And this is normal. You could do this at your job. And most of the time, if you want to connect from one server to another server without without password, that is something allowed. Alright, let's do the same thing to the second server. Bring the line up, and instead of changing to 10.1.10.52, change it to the second server name, which mine is 165. You need to give the password one more time. And now I'm into the second server here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit. Now if I do just simple SSH, root oh, no, I'm supposed to do SSH copy. Clear this. SSH copy ID 165. You have to run this for the first time. And red hat. And now I'm going to do it without password here. Do you see? It went in there without password. Okay. All right, so that is it for today. We're gonna stop here. Next week we're gonna start user administration, okay? And after that permissions, then we have disk management, and yeah, a few more. So we will have we'll run through the end of August. All right. Anybody have any questions? Put it in the chat. If you don't have any questions, but I mean, if you should have some kind of questions. So if you do, please let me know.